Hi, everybody. My name is Brandon Weatherby. I'm one of the people that works on Huffington Post D.C. It's sort of our birthday month. We launched a year ago, so that kind of makes it our birthday month. And yeah, please clap, because they pay my bills, and I love working there, so it's a very good thing. It's a positive thing. One of the things I get to do is do a daily piece of top 5 recommendations. I do the 5 events that are going on that day, and I have the 5 events that are going on in the next 5 days, like one event a day. So I picked 10 events. So I'm kind of in touch with what's going on in Washington, D.C., and this city has an immense array of talented people. So what this show is, what this little variety show is something different for the Millennium Stage. The Millennium Stage is here every day of the year. They're open at 6 p.m. and it's free and it's wonderful. And a lot of you are already here, so you know you're all here. That doesn't make sense. If you're watching this and you're not here, you should come here. It's a fun place. Anyways, they do events every single day, and this is a variety show. So instead of 1 act, you get to see 5 acts, kind of 6, because Ian Walters, he's a very talented piano player. Ian, you're just sitting there smiling and grimacing at them. Could you play something for like a minute to prove that I have good taste?
I'd be happy to.
Ian's going to play for like a minute. Just make it quick to show like how talented you are.
Would you feel happy or would you feel sad if you lost the best thing that you'd ever had? I want to know. I want to know. If it feels good on the inside, you're a much better man than I am.
Ian Walters, everybody. Thank you. Ian Walters is a fantastic piano player. You can see him most nights of the year. More importantly than art, because art comes and goes, he just got married. That alone deserves a round of applause. His beautiful wife is somewhere. That's good. So yeah, it's a variety show. Ian's going to play people on and off, and I will be talking and bringing up actually talented individuals. So that's going to be a fun show. We have a fun show in store for you. Our first official act of the evening is a very, very funny stand-up comedian. She's performed at the Artisphere. She's performed at the National Geographic Museum, a comedy hub of Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the very funny Miss Jen Tisdale, everybody. Jen.
This is so heavy. This is so heavy. Heavy is the weight. How's everyone doing tonight? You're all nearly as attractive as I am. It's comforting to be around all of you. I feel so good about myself. It's good to be on this stage, so close to so many people who have performed, not here, but next door. So we're at Talent Adjacent, right here. I hope do you guys like, is this a good dress? I got it on eBay for like $20. I didn't even wash it. I just put it right on. I'm disgusting. I was trying to like channel a Mad Men sort of thing, you know, kind of like where I just drink literally all day long, just drunk, and then Don Draper. So is that, you guys feeling that with that? Thank you, he's attractive as well. It's weird that we don't know each other. My grandmother's here tonight. She's never seen me before at all. She's 83. She's right here on oxygen. No, don't clap. Come on here. Don't give her a big head. We're all on oxygen. Let's not act like this is a thing, okay? I'm on it right now. So, okay, with the handicap parking pass, enough already. She's actually in really good shape. She doesn't have, any sort of major health issues. Nothing as frightening as, say, Alzheimer's, which, let's face it, that's just a really long existential crisis. You'll get there. Let's get there together. I like to self-diagnose myself a lot with diseases, most of them mental. I think I have bipolar disorder. I don't know, it's such a weird definition. My favorite one, though, of course, obviously, and you guys have probably heard this one, is the Charles Dickens. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Bipolar disorder. Chuck Dickens. We can be like that, Chuck and I. I'm not the kind of person that's ever going to get married. I think that's pretty obvious from my tattoos. Nothing says no dad faster than no dad, like a couple of tattoos. Yeah. People are like, they really pressure you. They're like, when is that? When might you do that? When might you, you're kind of sad and lonely. You own a cat. When might you do that? And I'm like, here's how you can tell how many years it's going to take for you to get married. Just count the number of soy sauce packets in your kitchen drawer. And that's how long it takes. I'm sort of a rigid, inflexible person. That's another reason why I don't think I'll ever get married. I'm an only child. Ma, thank you for that. I think that 2 of me would have been just awful. I'm just so, I'm so inflexible. I can't even touch my toes or my feelings. Really, thank you. I saw some kids here today, so this whole anti-kids joke is gonna be real great. Hey, you're adorable. Lock it up for this next one. The thing about kids is they have no filter. You never know what they're gonna say. They say some really scary things like, I love you. That's terrifying. You're adorable. See me after the show. I'm such a messy person too. I do things like I hit the panic button on my car key for non-car related panic issues. Like right now, I wish I had the key on right now. We could take this train together. Sometimes when I think about dating, it's a terrifying thing. I want to put out like the world's saddest personals ad, just wanted, anyone. In the program, they listed my Twitter handle. If you like really inappropriate, really, this is like as not appropriate as I get. If you really want to be like shocked and saddened a lot and then laugh, follow me on Twitter. I can tell that this is a tweeting kind of crowd. I can feel that. I feel that right now. If you're not on Twitter, see me after the show. I'll set up an account for you. You can follow me, nobody else. It'll be great. So I thought I would just share just a couple of my favorite tweets before I exit the stage. I have no concept of space or time, so maybe I've been up here for a minute, maybe I've been up here for 30. My first one is, I'd like to open up a hospital and IKEA so that I can operate on people with the wrong equipment and then sew them back up without all their parts. I'm glad you guys looked like too rich to go to IKEA. I was worried. I was like, these rich white people don't assemble their own furniture. Not this crowd. And the next one, and I can tell this is going to be a DC hit because we're a smart, political bunch of people. It's the horoscope of Abraham Lincoln for his last day of life. Don't go to the theater today. Seriously, don't go to the theater today. Do not go to the theater. Abraham Lincoln, what did he do? Went to the theater. Mm-hmm. You guys have been really lovely. Can I be honest? Can we have an honest moment? I love you all. Thank you very much.
I like you, Ian. Thank you. You make everything feel like Mr. Rogers, and that's the best feeling in the world. It wasn't a joke. He's my favorite. I had three idols growing up: Bozo, Johnny Cash, and Mr. Rogers. And only one of those 3 men are real to me, and that's Ian Walters. Anyways, our next performer is the head of this organization called Storyly. We profiled them in Huffington Post D.C. He was our first My DC profile. We do this weekly thing where we kind of highlight an individual in this city that makes this city a great place to live. So without further ado, coming to the stage, he just sold out the Black Cat. I don't know if you guys know what the Black Cat is. It's pretty much the exact opposite of this. It's dirty. There's a lot of illegal stuff going on. Equally awesome, just dirty. And he sold it out at a storytelling event. The first person to ever sell out the Black Cat with a storytelling event. Coming to the stage, the extremely talented S.M. Shrake, everybody. Put your hands together.
Thank you. When I found out the Kennedy Center was honoring me by letting me be in a free show by the snack bar, I said, I am going to give these people their money's worth by telling you the most boring story I can think of. And I had to go all the way back to my childhood in Michigan. 1980, I'm 10 years old. And again, this is really it's like so work-a-day. But my hobby was collecting Barbra Streisand memorabilia, which is totally normal. I mean, what? Kids collect stuff, right? Bottle caps, baseball cards, theater lobby-sized posters for the main event with Ryan O'Neal and Barbra Streisand, 1979. That kind of stuff. It's fine. Like, I earned by mowing lawns, raking leaves, and shoveling snow, and spent $1,000 in 1980 dollars on Barbra Streisand stuff. It was a very successful hobby. So one day I'm sitting in my bedroom, which was decorated with my Barbra Streisand stuff, and supplemented by some artworks that I had made of Barbra Streisand that were very beautiful. I'm sitting on my bed clipping ads from the newspaper for Yentl, Barbra Streisand's masterpiece. Right? She directed, wrote, starred in, produced, she did it all. And I'm clipping out the ads. And by the way, I still have these ads. My mom saved all of my Barbra Streisand stuff. So I collected Barbra Streisand and my mom collects me, I guess, which is also totally all-American, normal. So I've got the ads still, and they go from full page to half page to quarter page to like nothing, as Yentl kind of got less and less popular at the theater. So I'm sitting on my bed clipping these ads, and I'm always scanning for the name Barbra Streisand, which who isn't? And I noticed there's a column by this guy in the newspaper named Bob Talbert, and the column is called Monday Moanin'. And he was moaning about Barbra, saying that she's pushy and like bossy, and like implying that she's a rhymes with kitsch. I got a little upset. So I went downstairs to calm my nerves. I popped on the Yentl soundtrack. I put on my big 1980s headphones. Papa, can you hear me? Papa, are you near me? Papa, can you help me not be frightened? Papa, please forgive me. Try to understand me. Papa, can you tell I had no choice? Scott! Oh my God, my dad surprised me. He would sometimes surprise me when I was singing. And he looked kind of, I don't know, disappointed. No, for the obvious reason. Because, you know, his son is going through puberty, and so my voice had changed, and I couldn't hit the high notes. So he was kind of ashamed, I guess. He's like, come on, let's go, let's get this over with. So we got in the car, and we're driving along, and I said, Dad, will you go see Yentl with me? He said, haven't you seen it a couple times already? I said, yeah, but I want you to experience Yentl. It's a good moral story. I think you're going to like it. And he said, why don't you ask your mom? So we pull up at the flea market, because any time that I couldn't reach a place by foot or on my bike, my dad would take me to look for Barbra Streisand stuff. So I was looking for the 1964 Life magazine with Barbra on the cover. I had the 72 and the 68, right? But I couldn't find the 64. It was driving me crazy. So I'm sitting on the floor, rifling through the dusty old magazines for hours, you know. And my dad would stay in the car on these trips because, as I found out later, he's anti-clutter. He's practically hoarder-phobic. So he would stay in the car and read his military histories. And I'm in the, you know, it was fun for him, I think, right? So, I mean, like people always ask me, like, well, what did your parents think? Well, what do you think they thought? right? I mean, did they like it that I spent $1,000 on memorabilia? No, but they just figured boys will be boys or whatever. So I bump into a couple kids from school in the flea market and I say, hey, you guys going to Yentl next weekend by chance? And they just laughed at me because obviously they were going to Yentl next weekend. But that meant just yet another try and miss to get someone to go to Yentl with me. No, it's okay. So we're driving home. We get home, and I'm clipping Yentl ads again. And I see another column by this Bob Talbert guy. And this time he's referring to Barbra Streisand's schnoz. Now, you're supposed to say, whoa, that's uncool. Because the whole reason I got into Barbra Streisand in the first place was that she bore a ballpark resemblance to my mom. And like all American boys of my age and generation, I wanted to be my mom. So I didn't take kindly to him making fun of Barbra Streisand again. I said, Dad, this guy's making fun of Barbara. What can I do? He said, well, you could write a letter. So I took pen to paper, and I wrote a letter to Bob Talbert. Are you ready for it? Yeah. It's dated February 19th, 1984. Dear Mr. Talbert, I am sick and tired of you bad-mouthing Barbra Streisand and her movie Yentl. She is the most talented woman in the world, and she is deserving of all our applause. But you seem to think that Yentl is just another minimal effort, and Ms. Streisand is taking unnecessary credit for it. For your information, Barbara is almost single-handedly responsible for Yentl's success. It is a triumph, a superb accomplishment. What have you ever done besides sit around writing your boring, opinionated column and eating, which is evident in your photo? I suggest that until you do something great, you keep your mouth shut. Thank you. Scott Schrake, age 13, Birmingham, Michigan. And we mailed it. My dad gave me a high five. We mailed it. And Barbra Streisand, you all, made me a man. Barbra Streisand made me into the man I am today that stands before you. Thank you for listening.
That was very good. Does anyone here know Barbara? Okay, we got to try harder next time. Coming to the stage, she's a very talented author. It's not really our opinion. The New York Times bestseller list proves that she's a very talented author. She's also been profiled in the Huffington Post under the My DC column, or the pieces. I apologize for that. Are you ready, Jody? Coming to the stage, put your hands together for the very talented author, Jody Lynn Anderson.
Thank you for hosting me. Thanks for inviting me, Brandon. I have a little bit more serious of a reading. I'm reading from my novel Tiger Lily, which is a retelling of Peter Pan, but it's a teenage retelling, and it's told by Tinkerbell. So I'll just start. Oh, and it's about Tiger Lily, who's the native princess in Neverland. She stands on the cliffs near the old crumbling stone house. There's nothing left in the house but an upturned table, a ladle, and a clay bowl. She stands for more than an hour, goosebumped and shivering. At these times, she won't confide in me. She runs her hands over her body as if checking that it's still there, her heart pulsing and beating. The limbs are smooth and strong, thin and sinewy, her hair long and black and messy and gleaming despite her age. You wouldn't know it to look at her, that she's lived long enough to look for what's across the water. 80 years later, and she is still 15. These days, there is no new world. The maps have long since settled and stayed put. People know the shapes of Africa, Asia, and South America, and they know which beasts are mythical and which aren't. Manatees are real, mermaids aren't. Rhinoceroses exist, and sea monsters don't. There are no sea serpents guarding deadly whirlpools. There are pirates, yes, but there is nothing romantic about them. The rest is all stories, and stories have been put in their place. Now, the outsiders keep their eyes on their own shores, and we keep our eyes on ours. Too far off route, we've been overlooked, and most of us don't think about the world outside. Only she and I are different. Every month or so, she comes here and stares toward the ocean, and all the village children whisper about her, even her own. It has become such a ritual. And when she surfaces from her dream, she calls me by my old name, though no one uses it anymore, and she turns to me, her eyelashes fluttering in the glare that surrounds me, and whispers to me in one short syllable, Tink. Before he ran out on me and my mother for a twinkly-eyed nymph named Belladonna, my father told me a few things. He said rotten logs were the best places for mosquitoes. He told me humans weren't to be trusted, and he warned me to stay clear of Peter Pan. It was when he was tracing for me which part of the islands were forbidden and which weren't. He signaled to me in a form of language only fairies know. He can fly, he has horns, he eats men, and he will kill you if he sees you. My childhood friend Mirabella and I used to whisper about it before bed. We had never seen the Lost Boys. We didn't know quite what they were, ghosts or demons or living men. They were only creatures in the forest we couldn't find to spy on, but they left evidence of themselves. Carcasses of beasts and prey in their wake, and sometimes a pirate skull dangling from a tree. They left their tracks everywhere, and sometimes muddy handprints and the occasional curious artifact, like a papier-mâché mask or a tiny wooden sailing ship, to remind us of their presence. Sometimes the wind carried their yells and hoots to us while we lay in our cozy nooks deep inside rotting hollow logs. They seemed to know the forest better than we did, and we knew the forest like we knew our own wings. These boys were famous for their violence. They were known to eat wild animals raw and to steal girls who wandered alone. Imagining what happened to these human girls once they were stolen made me shudder. But after my father left, I had the irresistible urge to disobey every rule he'd ever given me. I'd fly all over the area I was supposed to avoid, looking for a thrilling glimpse of the boys, and when I got tired or hungry, I'd make a stop at the Sky Eaters village nearby to eat the fleas that can always be found near the animals that people keep. It was during one of these visits that I first saw Tiger Lily. The children were teasing her. That in itself wasn't what captured my attention. What caught my eye was her stillness, her absolute stony composure, as if the village could have been burning and she wouldn't have noticed or cared. She was like a dark cloud. She stood not 8 years old yet, black hair disheveled and down to her waist, arms crossed over her chest. The taunting escalated to pushing until finally a girl, Magnolia Bud, pushed her against a vat of cool, day-old turkey broth, and all the children suddenly joined in to hoist her into the pot, then closed the lid down on her. They sat on the lid and whispered excitedly to each other, and the girl underneath struggled and then went silent. A group of crows nearby got caught up in the excitement and squawked at the children shrilly. Finally, hearing the commotion, a woman appeared and the children ran away. Not knowing the turkey pot contained a child, she then went off to her chores. For several moments, there was no sound, and then the lid finally moved, and Tiger Lily climbed out, gasping for breath, shaking and exhausted. She walked home quietly. Tick-tock helped her wipe the broth and strips of turkey from her face. And when Magnolia Bud was found 2 days later on the village path, having choked to death on a piece of turkey from that night's soup, and with a crow sitting on her hip, the children, and indeed most of the adults, decided that Tiger Lily was guarded by crows. Whether that was true or not, I couldn't hear deep enough into her mind to know. But one afternoon, after the children had called her Crow Girl and run away for fear of her, I watched her slip a black feather into her hair. After that day, she kept it in. I saw her from time to time as she grew, and as she grew, she hunted, she ran, she perfected her aim and her abilities with a paddle. It was like she had an instinctive awareness that she had to do a little something extra to be accepted. For a long time, she took up with the boys, going with them on hunts, dominating in mud fights. Only she did too well at everything. She was too fast, her aim was too good. Her quiet confidence gave her a reputation for being haughty, and the boys didn't like being beaten. So by her 13th birthday, they told her she couldn't join them on hunts anymore. Without a word of complaint, she started hunting alone in the same areas and often ran into them with a rabbit slung over her back while they stood empty-handed. A village, one as orderly as the Sky Eaters, wants its members to fit just so. Tiger Lily didn't, and so gossip followed her. By the time she was 15, the age she was the day of the shipwreck, opinions by the dozen landed in each hollow track left by her feet. I could hear the thoughts flying overhead, or when I was perched in a hay roof, letting myself be groomed by crickets. It was rumored among the young people that at night she became her crow spirit, and they dared each other to leave piles of stones outside her door as a feat of bravery, fearing that they might peer through her window and see only a crow staring back at them. She would collect the stones the following morning, bewildered. Fear, yes, and even a bit of envy followed her side by side. But if she ever turned into a crow and flew away on night adventures, I never saw it. Still, the longer I was around her, the more I could see the colors of her mind and the recesses of her heart. There was a beast in there, but there was also a girl who was afraid of being a beast and who wondered if other people had beasts in their hearts too. There was strength, and there was also just the determination to look strong. She guarded herself like a secret. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you. So far, so good. We had stand-up, we had storytelling, and we had an author. So that's 3 different types of variety. Our next performer is none of those things. She's a sideshow performer. She's an award-winning sideshow performer. She's part of the Cheeky Monkey sideshow troupe thing. They've won awards. Okay, there's a program that was either on your seat or the very nice Kennedy Center staff handed out to you. If you look in that program, you'll see all of her credits. And you might want to take that home and look them up because unless you are a huge fan of sideshow, because I could see all of you, you want to look that up at home because it's really, really cool, impressive stuff. If you have a heart condition, if you are afraid of things like glass that happens to be broken, it's only 10 minutes long, so it's going to be over soon. I'm excited to see this. Every time I see her perform, I am in fear of her. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the extremely talented Mab, just Mab.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, step right up. Do not be shy. That's right, it is your opportunity, once in a lifetime or twice. How many of you here have seen sideshow before? If you've ever seen sideshow, let me hear a woo or raise your hand. Woo! Okay, so you guys know what to expect. You know to expect the strange and unusual things that you cannot believe, cannot conceive. But I'm going to do them right here, live and on stage and in front of you all. Now, the people in the back, you may not be able to see clearly. That's why I have this microphone, so that you can hear the agonizing screams and cries of mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mab, just Mab. I am DC's own sideshow girl, and I do tour the world for fun. And sometimes I actually perform in other parts of the world. Now, what I'm going to do for you today is a brief demonstration of the human ability to endure extreme amounts of pain. Now, in this bucket, I have almost 100 pounds of broken glass. Now I'm going to pour it nice and slow for the folks in back. This is your photo opportunity, people, so if you've got cameras, whip them out now. 100 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what 100 pounds of broken glass looks like. You may think it's just like one lost weekend, but it's my livelihood. Now, one thing I like to do when I travel the country, flying has been a challenge. I will tell you, I figured this one out. I'm very proud of myself. I just stick it in a suitcase, and I mark it fragile. So that when it gets there, I can open it up and say, that was my grandmother's antique beer bottle collection. And maybe get a little compensation. All right, here you go. Now you may think, oh, she's walking on broken glass. She's got shoes on. No. That's all well and good if I don't want to be impressive. But you guys want to see something impressive, don't you? I'm sorry. I'm okay not doing it, but let me hear you say woo. Is this something you want to see? How about you guys in the back? Is this something you want to see? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now to verify that this is in fact broken glass, I have a beer bottle that I graciously emptied that came from the bar in the back. This is a real glass bottle. I will now attempt, because it doesn't always work, right? I will now attempt to break this bottle, but I need your help. I need you all to count to 3 in a big loud voices. So let me hear you say, 1, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. That's an X bottle. Now, you cannot tell that bottle from the rest of the broken glass in this pile. Ladies and gentlemen, what I am about to do is incredibly stupid and should not be attempted at home. That's why I'm going to ask you to come over to my house. I'm going to film it. We'll put it on YouTube. I will make maybe $1.35. All right, here we go. Enough stalling. Now, for the folks in the back, I'm actually going to lower the microphone so you can hear the glass breaking beneath my feet. You know, I just got a pedicure. All right, here we go. Are you all right there, Ian? How about you? How about the rest of you? What'd you think? You guys are all like stunned, and jaws are dropping, and that guy in the front row is totally tweeting this. But ladies and gentlemen, I am pretty much unharmed. If you guys want to see more, let me hear you say more. All right, I have time enough to do one more feat of daring and stupidity. But in order to do this, I am going to need a volunteer. That's right. I'm going to call them a bear witness. We've got people over there on the side that are a little too eager, making me uncomfortable. Yeah, I want to hurt you. No, I'm okay. I'm actually going to pick somebody down here. You, sir. Yeah, you're shaking your head no. Come on. Everybody can see you. I promise you I won't hurt you, so come on down. Come on down, sir. Oh, hello. Well, never sitting in the front row again, are we? Wow, you are kind of tall, actually. You looked a little smaller in the distance. And what is your name, sir?
Bob.
Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob! Bob, we're going to call you an accomplice for the purposes of this demonstration. So, Bob, what's going to happen is I'm going to casually lay down in this pile of broken glass. Then you are going to take this foot, Bob, and put it on the center of my back. Now, if you could, between my shoulder blades, put your hands back there, so a little lower, a little bit lower. Okay, now go back and forth. Bob, you are the best volunteer ever. Oh, okay. Oh, right, Bob, yes. Okay, so that's the spot that you put your foot. That's actually perfect. Very good, Bob. And Bob, all right, this foot, center of the back. All right, yep. And that hand, your other hand, there you go, is going to go on Brandon's shoulder. So come on out, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon is also an accomplice. Bob, if you could stand right there. Brandon, if you could stand right there. I hope you get this right, too. All right, Bob. All right, so you're going to have this foot on my back, that hand on Brandon's shoulder, and then you're going to take this foot and casually place it on my head, which will be lying in broken glass.
I weigh quite a bit.
He weighs quite... Didn't you fill out the form on the way in that said, I only weigh a little bit? Wow, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. I'm going to need a volunteer. Actually, I should move forward with what I've got. All right, Bob. Oh, Bob weighs quite a bit and is very tall. All right. When you put your foot on my head, that will be laying casually in broken glass. If at any point in time you hear, please God, call the police, that's not part of the act. All right. And when Bob is standing on my head, you guys have a part to play in this. You all will go insane and applaud like crazy. All right, we're cool? All right, here you go, Bob. You can wear my hat for luck. Wow, you have a huge head. Okay. Whoa, my God. I'm in trouble. Do you know, Bob, it actually only takes about like 10 pounds of pressure to crush a human skull. All right, Bob, here we go. Yeah, go over it in your head as many times as you need, Bob. Bob. So here we go. I'm just going to casually hop down. Don't worry, they're real. Won't pop. It's kind of comfy, actually. All right, Bob, if you could put that 1 foot thing in the center of the back there, like we talked about earlier. Now, are you doing it long ways or do it 90 degrees? This way. Yeah, there you go. Whew. Take your time, all the time we need. All right. And everybody, I'm going to need your help here. Big loud voices on the count of 3. 1! Bob, don't go away. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, everything is okay. And I am completely intact. Kiss it, make it better, Bob. Let's have a round of applause for my brave volunteer, Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I am Mab, just Mab, DC's own sideshow girl. And I just walked on a pile of broken glass. Yeah.
Thank you. I've seen her do that near on 10 times, and I freak out every single time. Kennedy Center, she brought a tarp. Like, the stage is clean, do not worry about it. That man was not a plant. I wish he was. You're a very large man. Kudos to you. I wouldn't do that. That's why I stood next to her. I didn't know, man. Like, that's why I'm in the corner hiding. I'm afraid of her. Mav's been profiled by us, too, because she does things like that by choice, and that's interesting. We have one more act of the evening, and once again, not like anything else you've seen thus far. They're not going to walk on glass. They're going to play music, so it's not as like, ooh, but it's really good and interesting. So, Janelle and Anthony, why don't you come out and set up, and I'm going to talk about you guys while you do your thing. How do you follow a lady that does that? Or a person, sorry, that's sexist. How do you follow a person? You don't. Okay, you move on, and that's what's the good thing about a variety show. Most variety shows, they're the talk of the town. All these kids throwing variety shows. You can't get away. Anyways, Janelle and Anthony are very, very, very talented musicians, and this is the first band I ever had on my talk show. The way I got the job at Huffington Post is I host this talk show called You, Me, Them, Everybody, and it's a talk show. And Ian's played on the talk show many times as my house band, and Janelle and Anthony were kind enough to be the first band ever to play on that talk show. And it was in the back of the Looking Glass Lounge, which is a delightful bar in the Petworth neighborhood of Washington, D.C. I think 5 people were there, and I know, that's not true, 5 people were there for the show, and 20 people were there to watch a football game and scream over us. Near on 2 years later, I finally get to pay them back by having them play here at the Kennedy Center on the Millennium stage, and I couldn't be happier to have them. I couldn't be happier to have Ian. I want to thank each and every one of our performers that have already gone up. Obviously, Mab, because she's alive and deserves all of your applause. I want to thank Jody for being part of this. It was really cool to have her. I want to thank S.M. Strake for just immensely talented storyteller, and the very funny Jen Tisdale for playing a room that isn't our normal room. So these guys are an instrumental band. Give them your attention. Give Ian Walters a final round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys ready? Put your hands together for Janelle and Anthony. That was very good. Thank you, everybody. I was so worried we were going to go over on time. We did not. I'm making a note of that. We are not over on time. Thank you, Janelle and I think that was gorgeous. They have stuff in the back. They have vinyl in the back. They have CDs in the back, other stuff. Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. Huffington Post D.C. really appreciates it. We publish stuff every day, all the time. HuffingtonPost.com. Like you don't know what it is. It's the Huffington Post. Just Google it. I mean, you'll Bing it. If you like Bing more, use that. It'll get you to the same place. I want to thank my two editors that are awesome people, Aaron and Michael. They make my job really, really awesome, and I get to do cool stuff and focus on really cool art stuff. And they do stuff that to me is good on them. Thank you. Michael and Aaron, please clap for them. They make my life awesome. Thank you to the Kennedy Center for letting us do this. Hopefully you'll have us back again. Please say yes. This is on tape now, so you kind of feel obligated to have us back. I really want to thank everyone that tweeted during the show that wasn't supposed to. I hope every single ex-girlfriend of mine saw me on the big screen. That was really cool. Every single night at 6 p.m., the Kennedy Center has awesome free stuff at the Millennium stage. They're all different, not as different as ours. We have the most different because we're the best. Please remember that. Put that in a Yelp review that doesn't exist. Okay, I think that's it. Have an enjoyable evening, RG3 forever, and thanks for coming and have a wonderful night.